So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm going to be talking about elephant tusks. I recently visited the Rubens house in Antwerp. It's been turned into a museum, and if you haven't been, I strongly recommend it. Rubens went down in history as an artist. However, as I discovered, he was also an enthusiastic art collector. One of the pieces of art which we can find in the Rubens house is an ivory sculpture by George Purtell. It is an exquisite carving of Adam and Eve. It gave me mixed feelings because I'm a strong animal lover, and I just saw that an animal had been slaughtered senselessly for the sole purpose of creating art. However, I read on the description of this piece of art that the nature of the material, this means ivory, means that carvers mainly worked in miniature. This means that all ivory sculptures are small because of an elephant's tusk. After all, they are only so big. I became interested in elephant tusks because I thought they were quite large. But I have discovered many surprising facts about them, which I would like to share with you today. First, as you know, elephants are these magnificent animals which come from woolly mammoths. But what are their tusks? Let me explain. Usually, in mammals, we can see canine teeth. These are the typical teeth that we associate with vampires or wolves. But actually, elephant tusks are not canine teeth. They are elonged incisors. This means front teeth. And they are no different from other teeth. A third of the tusk is actually hidden from view. It's inside the elephant's skull. And this is why the elephants are poached, why they are killed. I didn't understand this at first. I thought, why don't they just cut the tusks off the elephant without killing it? Another interesting fact which I discovered is that elephant tusks never stop growing. So some old bulls display enormous examples. If you want to identify an elephant's age, you can look at their tusks, and if they have very large tusks, they're probably old. However, I should point out that according to what I read on the National Geographic website, the average size of tusks has decreased over recent years because of hunting elephants for ivory. This has resulted in the big tusk gene becoming increasingly rare. Yet another interesting fact is that you, as a human, probably are right or left-handed. It's the same for elephants. They favor the use of their right or left tusks. They do this when they fight other elephants, when they pick things up, when they strip leaves from trees to eat. And because of this constant usage, one tusk gets shorter over time. Elephant tusks are very important for them because elephants use them to eat, as I have explained, and elephants spend around 16 hours a day on average eating. They eat grass, small plants, bushes, fruit, roots. One of the reasons why they eat so much is because they digest around 50% of what they eat, which is a very low percentage. So they need to consume a lot of food to ensure they are properly nourished. They use their trunks also, which is actually their nose and their upper lip combined, to reach higher branches as well. And they even use their trunks and their tusks to dig holes in the ground and find water. An elephant's tusk can weigh up to 22 pounds. This is around 10–15 kilograms. And here is where the problem arises. Each tusk, is worth between 10 and 15,000 US dollars on the black market in Asia. They are used to make billiard balls, piano keys, chopsticks, and just decorations that people like to collect. An elephant's tusk will continue to grow along their whole life, throughout their whole life. And the average growth is 7 inches, which is around 20 centimeters. As you know, there are 3 species of elephants: the African savanna elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. If you want to distinguish which species you are looking at, you can look at their tusks. This is one of their differences, because actually only around 50% of male Asian elephants have tusks. All African elephants have tusks, male and female, which is why there is more poaching in Africa than in other countries. So, as you know, both male and female African elephants have tusks, and the ivory is so valuable to some humans that many are killed for it. This trade is illegal, but it has not been completely eliminated. Some African elephants especially are endangered because of it. Hunting trophies can include body parts, but the tusks are the most valuable part of the elephant. In 2016, under President Barack Obama, the United States government imposed a near total ban on elephant imported products. But Trump reintroduced the elephant imports in 2017. You may be wondering why this is relevant, but actually, if we consider elephants' behavior, it is extremely important. As you know, elephants never forget, or at least that's what we thought. But actually, this has recently been proven by studies. Female elephant orphans have a very difficult life when they lose their mothers. The mothers are the ones who remember where water was if they live in very dry areas. And actually, you may know that elephants are highly intelligent creatures. So they actually go through a period of sadness, which is similar to what humans experience when they lose a loved one. So they might be looking like they're doing just fine, but it turns out that they may not have the same access to resources in the long term because they don't see their mothers acting as they would. There have been some studies which a researcher has carried out. Her name is Joyce Poole, and she is a co-director of Elephant Voices, which is an organization which studies animal behavior. She has lived in Kenya for decades, and she has been studying how animals react. She is not surprised by this new research, and she believes that there is a body of evidence that poaching has long-lasting effects on these animals, which translate into lower levels of survival. So, apart from the 30,000 animals which are killed every year by poachers, it's affecting the whole species. The cost of elephants' mass killings for ivory is not just for these numbers. There are many more consequences to the individual lives of survivors, and it can have a negative impact on the whole network and the whole relationship of the elephant society. After all, as Joyce Poole points out, elephants are a lot like us. So, I would like to mention some other facts about elephants which I also read about. There is a day which is Elephant Conservation Day and Elephant Global Day. It is the 12th of August, and it is the day that was chosen to celebrate one of the planet's most beloved creatures, and also to draw attention to the challenges which they face. Populations have declined by 62% over the last decade. So, elephant conservation is particularly important now, and especially regarding Trump's new rules. If you want to protect elephants, here are some actions which you could do. First, don't buy ivory or other wildlife-related products. If you want to visit elephants, visit them in countries where they live in the wild. This is known as ecotourism, and ecotourism benefits the economy, it provides jobs, and it actually deters poachers because they see that it's being beneficial for their whole community. Choose ecotourism operators who support local elephant conservation projects, and you can even see if they treat the elephants with respect and dignity. You can also support organizations who work to protect the natural habitat of elephants and stop illegal poaching and also trade of ivory. Don't support organizations, obviously, that exploit or abuse animals, especially for entertainment and profit. If you see that the elephants are behaving in an unnatural way, carrying humans or doing similar activities, you're probably contributing to the decrease of this animal species. I would also like to mention more about elephant behavior, just to show you that animals and humans are more similar than we think. So, animals use their trunks to smell, to trumpet, to drink, and to grab things. Elephant trunks are actually able to pick up a single bit of grass, that is one single leaf, because their noses, their trunks actually work very similarly to human fingers. While they are migrating in search for food, elephants spread seed around the land where they have eaten. So they contribute to the ecosystem. They don't just take, they give back to it. And after eating, the seeds are released into the land, so they are able to transport up to the same seeds up to 40 miles. Elephants are known to be social creatures, and female elephants are particularly social. The elephant herd is a matriarchal herd. This means that the female elephant is in charge. The older females take turns taking care of their calves, of their baby elephants, and they protect them while they travel from place to place. You may not know this, but there are many carnivores which try and attack elephants, such as tigers, but they never attack adult elephants because they are aware that these tusks can harm them. They only attack babies. As for Asian elephants in particular, they have a smaller family structure compared to African elephants. African elephants sometimes live in herds up to 25 individuals. And depending on the availability of food, elephant families sometimes split up into smaller units. As I mentioned before, elephants grieve when one of their elephant family members dies. This is due to the way their brains are structured. They display some human-like emotions. They show sadness and grief and mourning, even long periods after their family member has passed on. So, as for elephant conservation, I would like to mention some figures. just so that we can see the evolution of the elephant population. In the 18th century, African elephants' populations were estimated to be in the millions, and it is believed that there were around 100,000 Asian elephants. According to the WWF, today there are around 700,000 elephants in the wild, and of these only 32,000 are Asian elephants. In 1989, there was a convention on the international trade of endangered species and wild flora and fauna. This banned the international ivory trade, but as I already mentioned, ivory poaching still goes on. In addition to poaching, another key threat to elephant population is habitat loss, as human population is in conflict with them. And this is another reason why elephants are often killed. It is not only to get the tusks, it is also because sometimes they have problems with human populations. I had some more facts that I would like to share with you, but I have reached the end of my speech, so thank you for listening. No, es 20 minutos. Ah, es intensito también. Es que este es el que, no, es que este es el que se me había desestructurado, entonces tenía los datos, pero... Es que cuando se dedica yo entiendo que no me salía tropa. No me salía tropa y está cuidando enseguida fue. No, me parece que era súper. Yo digo, ya para empezar con la hechura, vamos a tener aquí una hoja para. Bueno, no, primero las